Hello and welcome to another fresh edition of Rising Borno, where we bring to you trends and happenings as well as activities of the state government under the leadership of the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, in bringing good governance to the people of Borno. My name is Dorcas Yakubuzala. Let's begin. We'll begin with the Borno state government appealing to donors and partners to fill the funding gap left by the exit of USAID, which has supported health, education, agriculture, and other humanitarian interventions. The government made the appeal during the conclusion of flood intervention in affected communities. The project targeted households affected by the September floods that displaced millions and destroyed houses and critical infrastructures in Borno. The project provided support to households with non-food items such as wash materials, rehabilitation of water facilities, cash, and livelihood support for 3,000 people. The coordinator of Borno State Agency for Coordination of Sustainable Development, Partnership and Humanitarian Response, Gambo Bulama, stressed that the pullout of USAID funding has severely affected humanitarian response and various sectors across the state, with health being the worst hit. He urged donors to continue their support, stressing that conflict-affected communities are in dire need of assistance.
The impact of floods in the four local governments of MMC, Jere, Konduga, and Mafa is so serious to the extent that many people have lost their means of livelihoods. A lot of homes have been destroyed, latrines have been destroyed, and at the same time, economic activities have also been destroyed, and it has impacted a lot on the communities of these four local governments that you have made mention. My role as a local government coordinator is to coordinate how the partners are responding to the victims of these flood disasters in these four local governments that you have made mention. So I will be the one that will coordinate and monitor and supervise to take part in distribution of all food and non-food items of these organizations that are part of consortium projects. The response are very quick and very encouraging, looking at the time frame of this response. When we asked the partners to key in to support the government, these partners quickly responded and supported the victims, and they have supported the victims in time. It has reduced the humanitarian response in Borno State, most especially in health, nutrition, and some other sectors. As I'm speaking to you right now, many partners have been withdrawing because their projects are ending, and because of these new directives from the US president, many of these organizations are pulling out, which has affected the humanitarian response across all the 27 LGS in Borno State, most especially in the areas of health, education, shelter, nutrition, and the rest.
Just as mentioned, we've done something, but this support was necessary. For example, we've provided water. We've worked on rehabilitating boreholes in places that had lost access to water because of the flood. So imagine without this rehabilitation, what would have been? They would have had access to water for a while. So this support has gone in to provide rehabilitated water for people, has provided multipurpose cash transfer to households, so they can not only for repairs of their broken homes, but also for feeding and other things. So the money is open to them to do what they choose to do with it for their households. And then secondly, as it's going on now, as the workshop is ongoing, the participants are giving back their feedback to the organizations, telling them this is what has been done and they're happy about it. However, they're also translating and letting us know the needs of their communities, letting us know that their communities still need more support in the areas of food, in the areas of health, and also in the areas of shelter, because a lot of houses have been destroyed. So they're still letting us know this. For example, some of them are letting us know across the various communities so far, over 5,000 individuals don't even have access to toilets. because it has been destroyed. This is from the little we've gotten, and there's more data showing over tens of thousands do not have access to all of these things. So that is what is going on here. We're getting feedbacks from them, telling us this is what has been done. They've received this, they've done this, and it's good enough, but there's still more areas of need within their communities. Also, they're thinking about with the coming of the flood, some malaria and other things. Their communities have been exposed to things like malaria because the water has given a breeding ground for these things to germinate, and so some of them are complaining that their children have been exposed to malaria. Although we are grateful that there are no cases of cholera, which is a great thing. However, other things like malaria and other diseases are still exposed to them, so they're letting us know these needs are there. And also the cases of malnutrition because their farmlands have been washed away by this flood, and so there's need for food, there's need for livelihood support, especially because they need access to farming inputs and other things to turn back to the farm. Well, with these changes, I think there's going to be a huge gap, but I'm pretty sure the government is working around the clock to see how they can fill in that gap, because from various interactions, you can see that the government has been working around the clock endlessly to see how they can fill in these various voids, and also partners are also working to see how they can fill in the gap that has been opened. With this project closing, we're still working around doing a bit of resource mobilization to see how we can still get more funding to address some of these needs that have been identified during the course of this project. And that's one of the ideas of constantly interacting with both the communities and the government, because they're feeding us information on where there are needs, and we're also going out to speak to partners and speak to potential donors on what can be done.
The Borno State Ministry of Health has said it recorded 3,902 tuberculosis cases in the last quarter, but was contained and diagnosed. It disclosed this during the commemoration of the 2025 World Tuberculosis Day with the theme, Yes, We Can End TB, Commit, Invest, Deliver Health in Maiduguri. It revealed that Nigeria ranks 6th in the world and number 1 in Africa, which is disturbing, and calls for partners and stakeholders to intervene in reducing the leading death disease in Nigeria. The Borno State Commissioner of Health, represented by Dr. Abubakar Hassan, said it has been recognized as the best performing state against tuberculosis and called on stakeholders to maintain the status, stressing that treatment remains free across its health facilities. He attributes the success to the 15% allocation of budget to the health sector.
We join the rest of the world to commemorate World Tuberculosis Day in Borno State, which is celebrated on 24th of March each year. The date marks the day in 1882 when Dr. Robert Koch announced that he had discovered the bacteria that causes tuberculosis, which opened the way towards diagnosing and curing the disease. We are here today to create public awareness about the devastating health effects, social and economic consequences of tuberculosis, and to step up effort to end global TB epidemic. Tuberculosis is a major public health problem globally. Over 10 million estimated TB cases in 2023 alone. 5,800,000 notified cases are children, which is 11%. Now, Nigeria is among 8 countries that accounted for the 2/3 of global TB cases in 2023. Nigeria is first in Africa and 6th globally among 30 high TB burden countries, with incidence rate of 219 per 100,000 population and mortality rate of 28 per 100,000 population. If you know we have 200 million people and you divide it by 100,000 and multiply it by 19, I'm about 29, you can appreciate the mortality in terms of, if you are the one who wants whole numbers. Sometimes statisticians hide certain things by quoting rates. Suffice to say, this is a serious problem. Malnutrition and HIV are the key risk factors for tuberculosis. One person with active TB, if not treated, can infect up to 10 to 15 people in a year. In Nigeria, TB is the leading cause of death from a single infectious agent. TB is the leading cause of death, not malaria. Maybe we should ponder on that and appreciate how important this gathering is. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease, majorly affecting the lungs, caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. TB is spread through the air when people with pulmonary TB cough, sneeze, or spit. Its signs and symptoms include cough, fever, and excessive night sweating and progressive weight loss. People who are symptomatic for tuberculosis should visit healthcare facility for screening. We should treat TB patients with love and compassion. We should avoid social stigma and discrimination of people with TB. Tuberculosis is treatable and, most importantly, curable. TB services are free of charge and is available in the healthcare facilities. This is part of the message we want you to spread. TB services are free of charge and available in the healthcare facilities. With low case detection of TB, no one is safe. And until we are able to find and treat all the missing TB cases, leaving no one behind. Leaving no one behind is also a maxim of the militaries of all the world. Dead or alive, you leave no one behind. And presently in the health sector, we intend to leave no one behind in universal coverage. Tuberculosis.
The IM has introduced, or maybe just briefly highlighted, the profile of our Commissioner, Senior Special Advisor to His Excellency Dr. Abubakar Hassan. And of course, you know the Honorable Commissioner for Health, who is unavoidably absent. We know all of them. They are not just ordinary leaders of the health sector. Looking at their profile and what they have done in Borno State and Nigeria at large, and in fact even the international community, they are teachers, they are mentors, they are fathers, they are advisors. So looking around this room, around this table, I can boldly say without fear of contradiction that a lot of people sitting around the table have benefited from their mentorship in one way or another. So while we are here gathered to commemorate the World TB Day, we need to appreciate them for their leadership, we need to appreciate them for their mentorship. Please let's give them a round of applause. With that being said, the Honorable Commissioner for Health, sir, speaking for the WHO team here in Borno, I would just like to say a few words, a goodwill message, not necessarily a formal declaration of intent or plans, but it's just a goodwill message because I'm part of this team and I feel it's good we add our voice to this conversation. We are gathered here today to commemorate the 2025 World TB Day, themed, yes, we can end TB. We need to commit, we need to invest, and we need to deliver. With this reflection, I will use this opportunity to appreciate and commend the leadership of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, for giving the utmost priority to the health sector. If we recall, 2024 was a year when the allocation, even before 2024, but in 2024 in particular, the allocation to the health sector reached the Abuja Declaration commitment, ensuring that up to 15% of the state total budget is allocated to health. And that has continued in 2025 and we will continue. So we need to appreciate His Excellency for prioritizing health. Our special appreciation and commendation goes also to the leadership of the health sector, the Honorable Commissioner for Health, the Senior Special Advisor, His Excellency, the Chief Executives of the Board and Parastatals, for the strong commitment. We have had an excellent collaboration and partnership with the government of Borno State, the WHO, UNICEF, UNFPA, all UN agencies, INGOs, all of them. We have enjoyed strong partnership over the years. And it is indeed that strong partnership that is translating to better health care and health outcomes to the people of Borno State. We need to appreciate them for that leadership. Let me use this opportunity, Honorable Commissioner for Health, sir, to congratulate you. I know numerous congratulations have come in over the past few months, but it's important for us to reflect and remember that in November 2024, Borno State hosted the 65th National Council on Health meeting. And that meeting and the deliberations thereof has been recognized as one of the best NCH that this country has seen. So we really need to appreciate the leadership of the health sector in Borno. We also have seen numerous reforms and initiatives taking place. Just last week or so, His Excellency has commissioned numerous projects in the health sector, the hospitals, the eye and the dental hospitals in BU. We have also seen in the news the numerous structures being built in Monguno, the College of Nursing, and many other health institutions. All these taking place in the face of the insecurity and other challenges that the state is facing. But the relentless effort of this government goes to show that no matter the challenges, the government will continue to prioritize the health of the people. So we need to really appreciate and commend the government for that.
Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has expressed dismay with the rising number of Boko Haram attacks and kidnappings in communities without offensive operations, indicating that Borno is losing its ground. He stated this during a special expanded security meeting with traditional chiefs and security agencies in the state government chambers in Maiduguri. He described the recent attacks as worrisome that dislodged military formations in Dambao, Gamboru, Ngala, Goza local governments. The government lamented that 3 local governments, Marte, Abadam, and Guzamala, are still under the control of Boko Haram. While appreciating the efforts of security agencies against non-state actors, he appealed to the federal government to intervene and also reconstruct the dilapidated Biu Dambao Maiduguri Road, Maiduguri Dikwa Ngala, Maiduguri Kukawa Biu, Damaturu Federal Roads. Zulum called on security agencies to support the resettlement initiatives of the state government.
The Eid al-Fitr has just come and gone. but its virtues and lessons remain with us. It is therefore paramount on all to sustain the good teachings of the holy month of Ramadan for the survival of our dear country, Nigeria. In view of the above, sacrifices of our troops in the front line is acknowledged and appreciated, while we will continue praying for their success. I wish to express my profound gratitude to Almighty Allah for the successful Eid celebrations throughout the state and Nigeria in general. The recent escalation of Boko Haram attacks across the state is a matter of utmost concern. There is urgent need for aggressive military action and actionable intelligence to counter the insurgency. The recent attacks on Sabongari, Dambwa, Wulgo, Baga, and Mongono point to the need to up our ante in confronting the Boko Haram insurgency decisively and swiftly. I call on our armed forces to not only mount checkpoints and guard our towns and villages. I also call on our armed forces to take the battle to the enemy. We should not grant breathing space to the Boko Haram to regroup, rearm, and carry out attacks on our territory. By engaging in relentless patrols, picketing, and decapitation missions, our troops should defeat and end the insurgency in time so that our recovery plan will progress without let or hindrance. The resettlement plan of the Borno State government is in high gear, with new towns and villages earmarked for return of our IDPs to their ancestral homes. Without tight and efficient security, our resettlement campaign will not succeed. Therefore, I implore on you to support my government's drive to restore the dignity of our people. The Borno State government will continue to work closely with the armed forces to execute our development and peace-building program. We are deeply conscious of the nexus between development, security, and peace. Hence, as we invest in critical infrastructure, we are all opening new avenues for our citizens to engage in agriculture and sustainable livelihood. All this will not be feasible without resourcing and empowering our security agencies to secure our territory and safeguard citizens' lives and properties. Our government will continue to support our defense and security agencies while pushing them to perform better in encountering terrorism, insurgency, and criminality. We are also dealing decisively with the challenges of enforcing the state policy on scrap metals, which has of recent become a matter of serious concern. We need the full cooperation of all and sundry. The Borno State government is very strict about the resolve to ensure that metal scavengers and merchants do not use the loopholes in our enforcement protocols to steal critical assets and smuggle them out of our state.
If some people are coming to Borno, they don't know what has happened or what we have seen. But I have to briefly say something about the kingdom itself before I proceed with that. What has happened or what are currently happening. Borno is an empire which has been in existence for over 1,500 years without any interruptions. So many things have happened to people of Borno before and now. Some would have seen it, some would have read it, some would have had it. But to be frank and sincere, Borno was never defeated because some of the problems we have encountered, including even the rapid invasion, the Metasine attack, Fulani attack, all this is, including this Boko Haram. But to be frank and sincere, all these problems were masterminded, brought and injected to Borno by settlers. By settlers in the sense that they used to come to Borno in disguise to acquire Quranic education, to acquire Western education, Arabic education, lawful business, etc. Then that our people are kind and good enough, they will accept them and give them a place to sit. While they have an ideology, which is a project and polluted into the minds of the youth and created havoc here. Because almost all the leaders of these forums I have mentioned, none of them are made from Borno.
Meanwhile, after the conclusion of the security meeting, the Borno State Commissioner of Information and Security read out the resolution adopted during the closed-door meeting. The 7-point resolutions include a call to the federal government to support the resettlement drive of displaced communities of the state government and assured to support security agencies to succeed against terrorism in the state.
The escalation in insurgency drive has caused a small threat to our resettlement drive, but overall, we are on top of the situation. Government has put in place all the necessary measures, including beefing the capacity of our armed forces and security agencies in order to confront the enemy. As you are aware, very recently, government gave logistic support to the armed forces to the tune of 110 Hilux vehicles and over 500 motorcycles. And the government will continue to support them in areas of surveillance cameras, in areas of fueling, lubrication. We know that we're a subnational entity and security is an exclusive matter for the federal government. But security is everybody's business, and one of the pillars of our resettlement drive is security. And we are not racing on our oars. We are not deterred. It's a small obstacle. But by and large, none of our resettlement targets have been stopped or delayed because of the recent hikes in Boko Haram attacks. So I can assure you and the public that the resettlement drive of His Excellency Professor Babagana Umara Zulum will continue. Already we have resettled over 100 villages and cities, and this year we are resettling more. But to do this, we are deeply conscious of the need to support the security agencies. It's just a minor challenge to us, so we are fine. Secondly, what are we doing in the immediate term? Yes. We have already done what we should do in the immediate term, to call an emergency meeting of the State Security Council and to agree to what we should do. Our tactical and operational agreements and resolutions, they are restricted, so I'm not sharing them with you, but I can assure you that we have taken firm measures, very solid measures, in liaison with the security agencies, and very soon you will see changes. Those changes are not things that we will discuss or we will reveal, because the enemy may get access to our tactical strategies.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. See you next time.